Hostel Vista money YouTube check.
Sampurna.
Yes, ma'am.
Sampurna, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I made you host, Sampurna. I think you can manage, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
నేను నీకు యూట్యూబ్ లింక్ కూడా పంపించాను నీకు సింధూరి మేడం కి.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
ఓకే మా.
Ma'am, 100 above ఉన్నారా, ma'am?
Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, ma'am.
Welcome, sir.
Thanks a lot for the invitation.
In about 5 minutes, we will start the session, sir.
Sure.
Hello.
Manju? So can we start, sir? Abhishek, sir, shall we start? మీకు వినిపిస్తుందా నేను నాది
Yes, ma'am.
సార్ అభిషేక్ సార్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు స్టార్ట్ అభిషేక్ సార్
Sir, are you there, sir? Abhishek, sir?
Girls, all of you mute yourself. అమ్మ అందరు మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి ఆడియో.
Yeah, can we start?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah.
Computer, can you please start the recording? Computer?
So there's a lot of background.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we are starting in a minute, sir. Swati, please start.
Good morning, one and all. I welcome you all for today's webinar on practical startup skills in celebration of India Startup Day. The resource person is Dr. Abhishek Sinha, member, Innovation and Incubation IBS and consultant to startups. Sir is a certified financial risk manager from the Global Association of Risk Management, the USA, and a PhD in infrastructure finance from UPES, Dehradun. He is a member of Innovation and Entrepreneurship Council, IBS, Hyderabad. Sir has more than 17 years of experience in startup consulting, equity research, teaching, and research experience. He has specialized in go-to-market strategy and business planning. At present, he is working closely to T-Works to launch innovative products in the markets. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. Now, I request you to start the session.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the warm welcome that you all have given me. And let's begin. So as you would have heard, I have worked as an equity analyst. So a lot of you are from BCom. I started my life as a commerce graduate from Delhi University, Ramdas College. It was a prestigious thing to get into. It was a prestigious thing to get admitted in Ramjas College at that time. And during our time, we all were looking at a job only. Okay, so you had the best brains from India doing their BCom from Delhi University, the top 5-6 colleges. And luckily, I was one of them. But none of us ever thought about starting a business, right? So today, things have changed. For example, a lot of you might be wondering if you would want. My voice is echoing. Can someone check?
It's clear only, sir. It is audible.
Okay. That's what. So basically, the point is that when we start a business, what do we do? How do we think about a business? So that is the practical aspect that all of you would want to know about. So let's first understand what is a business. Can someone help me understand? Can someone in simple words define what they think is business? It can be a student, it can be a faculty, it can be anyone. Anyone who would like to tell us what a business is? Someone can type also if you want.
Girls, if you have any doubts, you can type in the chat box. Sir, they cannot speak, sir, directly to you.
Okay. That's
Only
it.
at the end of the session, if they have any doubts, they can ask you, sir.
Sure. So let me explain that. No
Yes, sir.
issues at all. See, business basically consists of three things. First thing is raising money. The next part is investing the money that is raised to buy assets. And finally, running the business on a daily basis, which is known as operating. Once the business is run, the people who have given money to the business expect some return. Okay. So if someone has given you a loan, he expects returns in terms of interest. If someone has given you money as equity, he expects that the share price will go up and he will make money. Okay. And the prices will go up if you have the right assets which generate the right revenue at a cost which is lower than the revenue so that you have a profit. Okay. So this is where we begin. After that, what we have to understand is what is happening in the startup arena or era. So let's just start with a very simple example. Let's say I want to start a business. The business that I want to start is a pani puri business. Okay, I want to come outside your college and set up a shop selling pani puri. Okay, so the question that comes to my mind is, how can I do it? I don't have money. So first of all, I go to my family and friends and take some money. Then I put in some of my savings and then I go to the first class of investors who are called angel investors. So I have not done anything regarding to the business. I just have an idea and they're ready to finance my idea. Okay. So this is the ideation stage where I get my first tranche of money to do a business. And this person who invests is not investing because he wants to hold my shares forever. He buys the shares to sell it in the future. Now, what is happening over the years is we have been betting a lot on companies which have very good ideas, but they do not have ability to scale. So up to a certain level, the investors make money and then things start going wrong. So the first word that was used for startups was unicorn. That is, startups which are of a critical size in terms of investments were called unicorn. Now the times are changing. We have come up with a new word which is called unicorn. Now, what is an unicorn? Sorry, we have come with a new word called camel. Now, what is camel? You all have heard about this animal. This animal can store food, store water, that is their food. So they can store as much of water as possible. Okay. Now, a company which is cash rich and is a startup also is called a camel. So what are we going to understand today is how to start a business which makes money for you. So with your permission, I will tell you some stories. Now you just have to understand the underlying principles that have made these businesses successful. Okay. There was a time in US when something called motels. Motels are hotels which are smaller in size, and people stay there when they are traveling. So the motel industry was facing a recession. What do you mean by the word recession? It means that the industry was not doing well. All the companies in that industry were making losses. Now I have a question for you, which I will answer if you can't type. The question is, why do companies make a loss? Especially a large number of companies in one industry. So to answer this question, I will start with a very good example for you. What happens is there are two kinds of cost. One is fixed cost, the other is variable cost. Now, if your fixed cost is increasing continuously, okay, what happens? So if your revenue decreases, your fixed cost doesn't decrease. But if your revenue decreases, your variable cost decreases. So if you have more variable cost, then revenue and total cost move in the same direction. However, if you have more revenue and less variable cost, then the riskiness is more because your fixed cost remains as it is, but your revenue decreases. I'll give you some examples here. Okay, and then we'll go back to that story. So COVID-19, let's say you have a shop and you have taken that shop on rent. So the fixed cost is the rent of the shop. Now what happens is you have to put a lock on the shop because you can't sell anything because of COVID. But you still have to pay the rent. Revenue is zero, fixed cost exists. On the other hand, you have not bought any inventory to sell because you are not going to sell. So your variable cost has come to zero. I hope you're clear with this. There's one variable cost, there's one fixed cost. Your variable cost is basically going to uh, decrease, but your fixed cost will remain the same. So this is the biggest challenge. Okay. Now, motor industry, what they were doing in US is they were employing people with a lot of experience, and these people were being paid a very high salary. So if you employ people with a high salary, what does it mean? It basically means that you will be paying huge sum of money. However, if your revenue comes down, then your salary will not come down. What I'm trying to say is revenue can come down, but your cost doesn't come down. So because of that, the fixed cost became so high, they couldn't increase their revenue because these were economy hotels. So people were not ready to pay above a certain level. Then all the motels started closing. That was the time when there were Patels in Kenya who were thrown out of Kenya and they wanted to migrate to India. They were not allowed. And then they went to basically US, and they were looking for opportunities to do business because they were the business class. And the business that they chose was a very simple business, the motel business. So they started buying the motel companies which were not doing well. Now, when they were buying the motel businesses, they changed the business model. Now there were 4 employees of the motel business only. Papa Patel, Mother Patel, son Patel, and daughter Patel. Ideally, that was the size of the family. And now, Father Patel was doing a particular kind of business that were taking care of a particular part of the business. What he was doing is he was taking care of, let's say, rent and all the expenses, how to manage that. Okay, and he was recording the accounting transaction. His wife was sitting on the reception and making all the entries and taking the calls of the customers. His son was helping with laundry work and all the other possible work. His daughter also chipped in. And all the 4 of them never took a holiday. And there was no attrition. And they developed a very nice relationship with the family, basically, with the customers, basically. So the good relationship that they developed with the customers were really helping them. So what they started doing was they started basically trying to increase, okay, regular customers. They started retaining the customers. The costs also came down because of the way they were selling the product. Okay, so this really helped the company. Now, what was happening is all these motor companies started doing well. So this is what a business is all about. Business is about how did they put their money? They put their own money, so they had to pay no interest. So the riskiness was reduced. A company which is not doing well cannot increase its risk by taking more debt. So they did not take any. The next thing that they did was the equity also that they and then it was their own money, so no risk. Then assets also, they maintained the basic assets only. It was not about the quality of the assets, it was the quality of the service. These people who were traveling regularly wanted some customized services to their needs, which were provided by these. Are you getting it? So the business problem that they solved was the satisfaction of the traveler. Okay, and that was because the four family members exactly understood what was needed. Okay. So is it okay till now? Whatever I'm saying, I hope it is. So I'll continue from here. Uh, so this was one example where you can see how a business turns profitable by changing its business model. So if you want to do a business, the first thing is get your business model right. Don't start a business which will not make money. Business is not about charity. If someone is funding you, he can strategize and help you develop a revenue model. But you yourself also have to think about it. For example, I was a judge in one of the competitions, and what I saw is when people were raising money, okay, what is happening is they were expecting that the person gives them money, they become rich. That is not the objective why you raise money. You raise money to run away. If you have raised money and your business doesn't deliver, then you lose credibility in the market. Am I making sense? You lose credibility in the market if you develop a business that does not basically deliver. So the first thing is you have to not only ideate, you have to have an operational team in place. For example, one of the products that I saw in the competition was someone wanted to saw a pain point that most of the students in their class wanted to develop a website, but they did not know where to learn. So he started a website for that. Now, the problem you have to understand is the problem is not in the number of websites. The problem is in the knowledge of that person. There are already websites like VSchool and others which can help you learn coding, and it can also help you learn a lot of things required to build a website. Now, instead of going to that website and learning, you start doing things that don't help. Are you getting it? You build a new website and you say people will come to it. Why will someone come to it when there's already VSchool, which is a very big successful website? For example, you want to replace Tally. Now, Tally is one of the best products India has given to the world in terms of accounting package. Now, if Tally is working successfully, why will someone shift to your accounting package if you come up with one? Okay. Let's say you say that in your area, there's a problem in delivery. So you are starting a hyper local market kind of delivery system, wherein the last mile delivery is what you are doing. So anyone who wants to deliver anything, be it Amazon, Flipkart, you're entering into a contract with them, and for 5 kilometers you're delivering. Now, is this model profitable? Is what you'll have to understand if you want to do this business. First, you'll have to understand, can you ever standardize the operations here? The answer is yes, because the area is less. Are you getting it? Then the revenue stream is going to be high. Your cost can be less than revenue and you can end up making profit. One very good example of a good business is boat. Boat, what they do is they buy goods cheap and they sell it in India. They manufacture different parts in China and they sell it in India. In China, it is cheap. That's why they're manufacturing. Now they're thinking of starting manufacturing in India. Are you getting it? And if they're able to do that, they'll definitely be able to make higher profit. And from day one, they are profitable. The reason being that the number of employees are optimal. They have not overemployed people. They don't pay extra salary for no reason. So they made sure that the company is doing well, and then there is a positive impact on the others. Now, board is thinking of getting listed in the market. So, if board gets listed in the market, there are chances that even if its valuation is high, people will buy this stock because there's more certainty to its revenue than a Paytm or a Zomato or any of the competitors. Okay. So, this is something that I'm sure makes sense to you. Okay, that when you are starting a business, your aim is to earn profit. And for that, you just have to look at two things. In fact, three things. First is financing. How did you raise the money and what is the cost of financing? Then, what are the assets you bought? Will it be able to deliver so as that your revenue is more than your cost? Okay. What is the biggest change that has taken place after the technological companies have come? If you look at it, after the technological companies have come, the biggest change that has taken place is that
Meeting is being recorded.
the biggest change that has taken place is that companies have now started looking at things differently. Okay? And they are trying to be profitable as soon as possible. So now I will just talk about uh, revenue streams, the cost factors, and this and the other variables that come into profitability. Now let's say for a company which has its cost increase every time its revenue increase, then what happens? Then it will never be profitable. So I will never invest in a company whose revenue is, let's say, 5x and cost is 10x, and it is not possible to change the model. Are you getting it? So even if you have seen the Shark Tank, when the businesses have got a creditable size, what are they looking at? First thing they're asking is what is the revenue of the last 12 months? The next question they ask is what is the revenue of the last month? That is, how are they performing recently? And then they ask what are your cost elements or what is your EBITDA margin? EBITDA margin is basically how much of profit are you earning. So the question is how much is your revenue, how much is your cost, and they're trying to find out is the company really doing well in terms of performance. By looking at the EBITDA margin, they are able to decipher whether the company will make profit or not in the long run. Okay, I hope it is making sense till now. So, if you look at Indian companies, a lot of these Indian companies which are getting listed are loss-making, but the trend is changing. Now, there are a lot of businesses which are making profit and people are ready to invest in them. They are not looking at technology disruption only. The only factor that matters is not technology disruption anymore. It is also about delivery. One thing that has happened recently is the value of intangible assets have increased. Okay, because there's technology business, your intangible assets have increased. If your intangible assets are increasing compared to your tangible assets, then valuing the cost of your investment is very difficult. Then calculating the return on asset has also become very difficult. Okay, and many companies they are not defining the project when they are introducing it to the market. The definition of the products are incomplete. And because the definition of the products are incomplete, it is impossible to make profit out of the given opportunity. So you have to have a market in mind. What are you going to sell? To whom are you going to sell? What is the value proposition? Why would he want to buy your product? How much is he ready to pay for it? If he is not paying, then who is going to pay? Will there be a source of revenue coming from advertisement? Okay. And what are the risks involved in the business? So these are certain things that you have to look at and you have to develop an understanding of and basically try and build your business from. Okay. Now, whenever you go to a person looking for funding, he will always try to understand two things. One, how good is your business model? Two, how competent are you? And what strength does your team have to deliver what you have envisaged to your business idea? So whatever your business plan is, till you don't have a strong team, no one will give you the money. Or they don't have belief on you, they will not give you the money. Okay. So to get the money, you need or you yourself. Hello. Yeah. Or am I audible? All good?
Yes, sir.
So the first thing that you have to understand is now that we are not trying to basically increase the revenue. We are also trying to increase the profit. We have shifted from unicorns to camels. There are few sectors where technology disruption can make a big difference, such as fintech, where companies are still being valued on the idea of its ability to cause a disruption. In others, we are also talking about delivery. We are talking about value proposition. We are talking about creating a moat around your product through the product differentiation or trying to make your product better than your competitors. Okay. So these are certain things that we keep talking about, and our delivery would depend on our ability to basically do all this right. Okay. So now the question is, where do I begin if I want to do a business? When I have to do a business, I should have an idea, which is called the business idea, and this is the ideation stage. If you are looking for funding, you have to go to the angel funds, and they will give you a funding of your idea. When they look at your idea, they see the probability of the scalability of the idea, of the business disruption it may cause, of the practicality of your idea, are certain things they will look at. So if it's good enough,
before you talk and before
they will handhold you and they will help you grow. Okay. So they will handhold you and they will help you grow. Now, after they have given you the money, then comes a Series A investment. In Series A investment, what will happen is investors who invest look at whether they can change your idea to a time. I mean, giving a definite shape and you need a market segmentation. You need a go-to-market strategy. Go-to-market strategy is whom should you sell? Should it be a business-to-business basis on which you are selling, or should it be a business-to-consumer kind of model that you are developing? So, which product, which model, only you can decide. Okay, and there are going to be the advantages of both forms of model, and a disruption can be caused depending on how efficiently have you tapped the market or you have understood the market. Then again, who are the people with you? And always remember, when you're starting a business, it's not about the first movers advantage. I might be selling jalebis, I might be selling pani puris, but they can be also excellent business ideas if I've mapped it all, that how will I make more money than the other pani puri walas around me. If I can do that, I can use technology for that. I can tap customers using SEO. Okay, and I can reach customers and keep talking. What is SEO? Search engine optimization. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. You can continue, sir. You're audible.
So yeah. Now, what we are doing in this whole process is we are building an idea into a business, and we are taking money in different steps. The first step in which I took money was basically a very simple method, and that was known as angel funding, where I had an idea and someone gave me the money. Then the second level of investment was when I wanted to convert this idea into a product. Third level is when I want to reach the wider market. I want to grow the product. Fourth can be where I'm looking for stability of the product. And in each of the stages, you can have different level of investors entering. Each investor will have a different thought process when he enters. Okay. So sometimes you may be addressing a pain point, but my question is, will you have any legal challenges in addressing that pain point? Uh, uh, will there be anyone who can basically help you develop that idea better? So there are a lot of questions that needs to be answered at this stage. Okay. And then how do you build a team? How do you grow from here? And there are a lot of good case studies and examples. One of the examples of a company which has raised funds successfully can be Big Basket. Okay. What was Big Basket's idea? Big Basket's idea was to provide, with the help of technology, goods at your home. So they could bring it directly from the market to your home. And they had their own inventories from which they provided. And the strength of the product was that it was very unique and very convenient for the customer. The weakness was with increase in revenue, the cost is also increasing. And at times the cost is becoming higher than the revenue. In fact, it has been higher than the revenue in most of the cases. So they have been earning losses over there. However, the business model is so strong that people are still investing. Then there's a company called Tutor Vista. What it does is, if you are an Indian and you want to teach maths in US, you just have to give a small test, automated test. If you score good, they'll help you find a teacher. They'll help you find a student in US, and they will charge you a commission. So these kind of businesses have over the years been making a lot of money compared to the other businesses. Are you getting it? Now, where is a lot of innovation happening in India? One area is agri-industry. Second is retail industry. Third is hyper-local delivery. Fourth, healthcare. Okay. So are you guys getting it? Am I able to explain this well to you? that when I am doing a business, I need to first start with financing, investing, and operating. Then I should be worried about the operationalization. And finally, I have to look at profitability. If I have not built a profit model at some level, the investors won't be able to exit. Now, what the investors do is, when they invest in your company, they are always looking at what price they can sell and make money. And they have a time frame in mind. They'll hold it with you for that period and they'll try to make money. But if that doesn't happen for them, then there's going to be a problem. Am I making sense? Am I making sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, absolutely, sir.
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to go too much. If anyone has any question, the forum is open. You can ask questions. If not, I will give an example or two more to explain you the business ideas of things. How can successful businesses? Any questions?
Girls, you can post the questions in the chat box if you have any.
The only thing I see is attendance, and that is what happens in all the.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so no issues. Anyone has any question, please feel free to ask. Okay, I don't think anyone has a question.
Sir, let me check the chat box once.
Yeah, I did check my mind. Don't see any
Yeah.
names. That's okay, no issues at all. That's
Yes.
how it is these days. Yeah, so fine. What I'll do is I'll just explain 2 or 3 interesting ideas that have come across. Okay. And you
Please,
just
sir,
try
please. Yeah.
Yeah, you just try to visualize these ideas as students and think about it. Okay, if you're listening to me like this. So the first idea I'm going to talk about is in detail is the idea of what if a farmer can rent a tractor. Okay. I buy 20 tractors. Now the sowing period is going to be different in different states. So I can take these 20 tractors across the country and then make money out of it by renting it to the farmer. And the farmers also like this idea because of the simple reason that uh, for them, they do not have money to buy a tractor, but they are ready to use a tractor if they can afford it. So the rent they can afford, buying a tractor they cannot afford. Are you getting it? So this is what you call a good business model. Then the another brilliant business idea was sharing of cars. Now, let's say you're in Hyderabad, you're staying in high-tech city. Let's say you're staying in Chandanagar and you're going to high-tech city. There are around 5 cars going to high-tech city at the same time to your same company. Now, what if all the 5 of you get together and travel in the same car? You'll save money. And there'll be a particular rate which will be charged by the owner of the car. So the owner of the car who works in a company is monetizing his car, and this is helping save other costs. Okay, social costs. So there were too much of cars on the road, so there was too much of pollution. So this pollution also has come down now because number of cars have come down. So this is the kind of thing that we have to understand. See, if you really want to do well, you have to understand businesses as a commerce student. And how do you understand business? By understanding 3 things: financing, investing, and operating. What are the assets you will need? From where will you get the money to buy these assets? And how much of revenue do you want to generate? How will you generate that revenue? And how will the cost structure look like? Is it going to be rigid, having more fixed costs, or will the cost structures be such that there'll be less fixed costs and then there'll be higher profit? So, have I made sense? Is it clear? So this is what I've got to say. I can keep speaking for 2 more hours, but I don't want to bore you all. I hope, but till now it has made sense. Any questions, ma'am, from anyone? Any faculty also wants to ask anything? They're free to ask. Or any students. Any faculty can think on the student's behalf and ask questions they think the student has. I'll be more happy to ask.
Sir, I have a question, sir. How to
Yes.
start an incubation center, sir, in our college? Actually, we don't have an incubation center till now. So we would like to start an incubation center.
To
You
start
advise us? Yeah.
To start an incubation center, you'll have to get it registered.
Okay, sir.
So first of all, it's a regulation policy that you'll have to follow. So it has you'll have to take some legal help on that.
Okay,
I'm
sir.
not really into registration of incubation centers, but we have got an incubation center at our college, which we have registered recently.
Okay.
So it's a long drawn process. But see, having an incubation center will not help until and unless we think about businesses. Like I can see a question.
Yeah. Sir, one of the students, Miss Sandhya, is asking a question, sir. How to choose a business field which can make money now and in future?
Okay. So this answer you have to provide. So how to choose, I told you, there are three things you look at. What are the three things you look at? First thing, what are the assets required to do the business? Then you will see how much of finance is required. Then you will have to see what is the revenue being generated and what is the cost. So if you can
Yes, sir.
understand that, then you can generate. So the idea has to be such that there's some value proposition. Why will someone buy from you, and how much of share market do you think you can get? By saying that you have the first movers advantage may not be enough these days. Okay. For example, I'm seeing such unique products by Telangana Works, which we are working on with them to get them to the market. Okay, right from teaching kids on good touch and bad touch in schools to developing a workbench where experiments can be done both in offices and companies in terms of chemical industry as well as science practical experience, or developing a cradle for the kid. Okay, where the kid can be made very, the cradle can add a lot of value to the kid. So how does it work? We'll have to see. Okay, so how can the product work? So for that, you have to find the right market also. So if you are getting into business, the idea has to be yours. It can't be anyone else. Okay. If someone, it's not an exam where I can give you an answer. You have to be passionate about it because you'll have to deliver. There'll be so many challenges. Every time the challenge comes, you'll feel like leaving, but it's only your belief, your faith in the idea that will take you to the next level. So anyone who puts money in your business wants to know how much do you believe in your idea? Why are you doing this business and what are you expecting from it? If you're just doing because you want to make money, it's not enough. You should believe that the idea will work and it should come from you.
Sir, one more question from Shravya, sir.
Yeah.
How can we understand that our idea is good or bad, whether it can raise profits or not? Like any key points are there to notice or keep in mind?
Okay. So can you think of any idea, Shravi? You give me the idea and we can discuss. If anyone has any idea, just type it and I'll tell you how. We can look whether the idea is good or not. Any business idea any student has, they can type.
Shravya, do you have any business idea right now?
Anything will do. If you want to open a designing business, that's also okay. Fashion designing, teaching. Yes, Shavya. No idea is small. Can you mention in 2-3 lines if you don't mind?
Small one, she's saying.
Yeah, nothing is small. Don't worry. Whatever it is, can you just mention in one line, Shavya? I'll help you develop it. My Pani Puri business might look small to others, but I want to be an exporter in Pani Puri. So it become a big. Acha, a jute bag business, right? This is a very good idea that Shavya is talking about. So now, first question I will ask her is, to understand the idea is good or bad, is where will you set up the plant? How will you get these jute bags?
Jute bag business. Good.
And then whom will you sell this jute bag? You're getting it. So where are you going to get this raw material from? How are you going to manufacture it? Whom are you going to sell it? At what price are you going to sell it? And why will someone buy jute bag from you and not from someone else? Why should you get the share of the market? Okay. Then how will you finance this idea? And who is the team that is helping you develop this jute bag? What is the scale in which you're developing this jute bags? How many jute bags can you order? Are you selling it to the, is it a business to business selling of jute bags? Are you going to sell it to the retail companies? Or are you going and selling this jute bag to consumers? How are you selling it? Are you selling it through SEO, search engine optimization, through Facebook, WhatsApp, at all? Or are you selling it directly to someone? Are you all with me? Are you all with me? So this is what you have to understand. So it's good or bad depends on your way of earning profit. Now, is it good to study maths? If I ask you, for some studying maths would be good. For some, it may not be good. It is how you plan it and how you run about it. Very good. This is a very nice question that Preeti has asked. When you are doing too many things at a time, the most important thing is how can you organize, plan, and prioritize your work. See, my idea of life is live life daily. Okay, if you are living life daily, you have a long-term objective, but have a short-term goal on a daily basis. For example, let's say you're preparing for starting a business after 5 years. Okay, what do you want to do today is more important. You want to investigate a business idea today. You want to read about a particular business idea, for example, jute bags. You want to see whether it's feasible or not. So you are looking at, so you are going to spend today 4 hours studying that. Okay, so that comes into your timetable. You also have to study for an exam that you have tomorrow. So that also is a part of your timetable. Now, which of the two is a priority? You have to decide. Your parents can't decide, your teacher can't decide. There are dropouts who do really well in life. There are toppers who do better than that. Okay, I can tell you 2 examples from my schooling days where one guy who was an IIT rank 56, his name was Amit Sinha, he's given 10 crores to IIT Delhi today. He's made a lot of money. Another guy who was not among the toppers, he was one of the guys we never thought will do well in life. He is consulting businesses after businesses today. He started his own startups and he's a serial investor. He keeps making money out of it. So they both are successful. So my point is, one decided to study and then get into it. He's done PhD from MIT, the first guy. The second guy has left his study after graduation only. However, he's worked his heart out and he's done really well. So what do you want to do? You decide and then you prioritize that work compared to the others. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong as long as the intent is right. Your intent should be right. You should really want to do something. Just don't run away from it. Okay, and prioritize depending on this and have a daily plan. Morning when you get up, you decide, I will do this. Night you check what you have done. Does it make sense? Very simple. Take baby steps. Don't try to hurry up with anything. Don't think about long term. Long term, my business will succeed or not. Who cares? What you care is, are you happy today or not? If you're happy today, you can plan for tomorrow. Right? Anything else, Preeti? Or anyone? Any questions? I hope I've justified my question. When a business is about to fail, wait it for it to fail and then think about some other business and get into it. It's not necessary that your first business is the second. What do you do if you fail in a subject? You study again. You try another business idea. You first find out why is the business failing. Can I restructure, reorganize, and get back? If you can't, then think of something else. So be very focused. Know why you have failed so that you can succeed the next. And there's something called sunk cost. The money that you have put is gone. You make profit or not is different. So don't be bogged by the fact that your money is gone. The next idea, you have to make it successful. You can take a lot of examples, Ninja Cart kind of companies, which have failed in their first 3-4 ventures. In unrelated businesses, the startup guys tried. They failed 3 to 4 times in 10 years, and the 5th project became successful. So why did it fail? If they understand and they can make another business successful, it's enough.
So one more question from Rajalakshmi, sir. What to do when business is about to fail?
Yeah, I just answered this question.
Yeah.
I just said that if the business is about to fail, see why it's failing. If you think you can't provide it, stop it, then forget what are the losses, get into some other business or get into a job or whatever you want to do. Don't try to prolong a business if you feel that it will not work. Right? So understand why it failed. Is it that the idea was ahead of time? Is it that your marketing team is not strong? Is it that your operation team is not strong? Is it that you have not raised the money the way you should have? Is it that your investors are getting into the way of you making money? So you will have to find out and then take a call. Okay. Does it make sense, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Sir, any books on ideas to start a business? Sandhya is asking, sir.
You know what is the best idea? Look at advertisements. Okay, Sandhya, look at advertisements. For example, and please understand, the business that will work for me may not work for you. Okay.
One more question for you, sir.
Yeah, so the idea is not finalized. So please understand, I'm trying to harp on one thing. It's not about the idea. It is about the implementation. How good are you at implementing what you're trying to implement? See, there's an exam. You ask me which subject to take. I say maths. 2 students take maths. One makes a brilliant career out of it, the other doesn't. Why? Because one implemented it better than the other, and the environment might have also helped him, whatever it is. So just doing something doesn't matter. It's how you do it compared to others that matter. Yeah, ma'am. What is the key to success when communicating with the investor?
Yes, sir.
It is honesty. It is how ethical you are. It is how receptive you are to their ideas. See, there are people who are more experienced than you, most of the investors. So they would want you to understand what they are saying, not argue with them. You have to be passionate with the product, but you have to be ready to make the changes that they are asking you to. There have been cases in India, where, such as housing.com, where this product was brilliant. Okay. But it couldn't last the test of time because there was a problem between the investor and the management. And why was there a problem between the investor and management? Because the management of the country, there was this guy Rahul, he was running the business, and Rahul Yadav, his name was, and he just couldn't accept anyone else's view on anything else. And he did not have enough experience. He was not trying to bring the experience of the investors on board. So the investors thought they had had enough. They threw him out of the company. Same thing had happened with Steve Jobs also in Apple. Once upon a time, no doubt Steve Jobs came back. But many a time, if you are thinking you know everything and the investors don't know anything, especially if it's a private equity investor, he is not going to take it kindly. He has experience, he wants to make money and get out of your business, and he knows how to make money. And if you don't listen to him, he may ask you to leave if he has enough control over the company in terms of shares. Okay. Is this fine?
Thank you so much, sir. Very nicely you have explained. What is the most challenging part of the budgeting? Someone is asking, sir.
Yeah, very good. The most
The
challenging
technique
part
from IT, yeah.
of anything, Preeti, is the uncertainty involved. Budgeting is about the future, right? So if your revenue estimates go wrong, I'll just give you an example. Tata Steel bought Chorus, okay, in Europe. They expected that the revenue will increase and the cost will decrease. But the revenue did not increase, the cost did not decrease. So the uncertainty involved in the projections you're making, how much of that you're able to capture in your books is what will determine your future. Am I making sense? Preeti, I hope it answers your question. That how realistic is your assumption? The assumption on which you have made your budget, how realistic? So just try to make your budget, try to see if there is a chance of your revenue being less, so do some scenario planning. When you're looking at the expense, scenario planning means what if this happens? How much will my revenue? For example, COVID. If COVID lasts for 6 more months, how will my revenue be impacted? If it lasts for 3 more months, how will my revenue be impacted? If it lasts for 1 year, how will my revenue be impacted? What if a new strain comes? How will that impact my? Is that fine? All good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks a lot for your time and patience hearing, ma'am, and all your students. I hope it adds value, and I can see some entrepreneurs in the future who were motivated by this session and took the risk required to become a successful.
Yeah. Swati,
Yeah, ma'am.
can you start? Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs on startup skills with examples. Now I request Aman Kaur to propose vote of thanks.
Aman, are you there? Aman Kaur? Sampurna?
So she is coming. She says,
I will allow her.
Yeah, Sampurna, please allow her. Aman Kaur.
Ma'am, I made her post, ma'am. She can talk. She can unmute herself first.
Yeah. Aman, you can unmute yourself and talk.
Yes, ma'am. Mama, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, respected HOD madam, all the faculty members, respected resource person, Dr. Abhishek Sinha sir, and all my dear friends. I, Aman Kaur from BCom 3A, would like to thank Swati ma'am for giving me this opportunity to give vote of thanks for today's webinar. I would like to thank our HOD ma'am for organizing this webinar. Now, I would like to thank our IIC President K. Sinduri ma'am for organizing such a helpful and useful webinar for us. I thank Swati ma'am for giving the introduction of the resource person. Now, I would like to thank the resource person, Dr. Abhishek Sinha sir, the member Innovation and Incubation Center, IBS, and consultant to startup. Thank you, sir, for the today's webinar. It was a pleasure to attend, and sir, you helped us in knowing about the practical startup skills, which is very important for us. Thank you, sir, for telling us how to start a business, what are the risks involved, and the most important that how to overcome the losses in the business. Thank you, sir. And last but not the least, I thank all the students for attending the today's session and making it successful. Once again, thank you everybody present here. Thank you.
Thank you, Aman. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir, for the excellent
thanks a
session.
lot.
And hope we look forward to more and more sessions like this, sir, in future.
Sure. Ma'am.
Thank you,
Thanks a
sir.
lot. Thanks a lot to all of you for your time. Bye for now.
See you soon, sir.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Girls,